Hello everyone, and welcome to the introduction to HobbieCast. In this podcast, we will be talking about different hobbies, which one is the most enjoyable, and just in general to talk about life and have a really good talk and talk about your feelings and your different types of hobbies. Please stay tuned and do not be afraid to tell your hobby in the comment section down below. Now, first, let's talk about all the fun hobbies. Hobbies have different themes. Some can be really fun, while others can be boring. Some can be somewhat neutral, but some can be really unique. And that's what makes a person or a human. In my opinion, hobbies are not really boring. They're mostly just fun. There's no term called as boring when it comes to hobbies, but more on that later. For now, let's talk about all the fun hobbies. Hobbies are just something that someone is really interested in and actually wants to do. For example, I am a content creator. I find that interesting and consider that as a hobby. Hobbies at the same time though, cannot be a real life or job unless it pays really good money. For example, if you somehow have a hobby over math, studying, reading, etc., or even science engineering, then I will admit those hobbies will pay the bills and everything. But the cheap hobbies such as watching TV or playing games, you get the point. Basic hobbies, they will not pay the bills. You're just wasting time, not really wasting time. It is something you genuinely love doing in your spare time, but if you really want to build a successful future and you're relying on this, then I would say it's pretty much a waste of time. But at the same time, it is fun. You should do it. You should take breaks at the same time. But hobbies are generally something which people love doing, not just because they want to earn money, but based on their own interest. Now, content creators, for example, are really successful, but if you choose a simple hobby which does not pay the bills like I said, it will not really help you in life, which means you could just do that in your spare time, in my opinion. Now, let me tell you more about my opinion when it comes to hobbies. Hobbies, in my opinion, are something that you need to do in your free time, rather than making it a job, unless it's a really high-paying job overall, my opinion. Now, let's talk about more of the boring hobbies. Now, first of all, let me get this clear. There's absolutely no term called boring when it comes to hobbies. Hobbies are something which people love doing and are not bored of. If you're bored of a hobby, then that means it's not your hobby. Unless you're looking for a new hobby and you're interested in that, then maybe there's a term on that. But it doesn't really make sense to actually be bored of something that you like doing genuinely. Which is why I want to now come to the point. Hobbies are based on someone's interest, and that cannot make a person bored in any way at all. Even if your hobbies like math, science, English, etc., you get the point. You cannot get bored from a hobby in almost any way possible unless you found a new hobby, like I said. But there is a term called as someone else not liking your hobby. Now that is a completely different story. Let's say you have friend A, friend B. Friend A likes this hobby over here, but friend B finds it a bit boring. That is a sensible term, I would say. That actually makes sense. Someone else is getting bored of your own hobby. But in general, you cannot really get bored of your own hobby. But some boring hobbies, in my opinion, quotation boring hobbies, include math, science, engineering. Engineering is pretty fun in my opinion. You get to build robots, you get to build cool mechanics, you even get to build ships and everything. That ain't boring. What am I even talking about? But you get the point, English, etc. Also, even reading can be a hobby too. People can sometimes love to read books and everything, but sometimes the thing is, eventually, people must move on. They cannot just stick to one hobby and then just make that their permanent living. Unless somebody really likes their own hobby, I advise they can move on to a different hobby or have multiple at the same time. There is a term called having multiple hobbies rather than just one. But your favorite hobby, that is a term that I would like to use. having one hobby means just your favorite hobby, because I'm sure that you like a ton of more things than just one thing to do your whole life as spare time. Anyways, moving on. The thing is, these are the hobbies which will help you at the same time. Remember earlier I told that silly hobbies like watching TV or like playing video games for absolutely no reason, or like, you know what I mean. Those hobbies won't really pay the bills, in my opinion. Hobbies are meant to enjoy, not to really bore yourself. But if you're thinking of actually following your dreams in life, actually deciding to make a hobby your whole life's career, choose at least a good hobby that will actually be high paying, like STEM programs, robotics engineering, marine engineering. You can even go for NASA. People are in love with NASA nowadays. Not just computer engineering, coding, websites, etc. Those are really good hobbies, by the way, which I'll get to in a bit. But NASA, oh my god, a lot of people are in love with NASA, seriously. Like, people are applying to NASA like crazy. And they're even planning on terraforming planets and everything. Now, this is something people can not only be interested in, but fun fact, NASA pays over $1 million per year to a person who applies for one of their positions or jobs. Even for a middle position, NASA pays over $1 million a year, I think. These are not actual estimates, but I think that's the estimate. You know what? I'll put the estimate down in the screen. But as you can see over here, that's how much NASA pays per year. I don't even know how much it pays, but I'm just putting up the number down on the screen right now. But anyways, moving on. There's also such hobbies such as coding and stuff. Now let me elaborate on that a bit more. Basically nowadays, computer engineering fields are off the charts. There's so much of IT engineers, so much of coders, so much of website developers, and not just that, there's so much of content creators too. All of these are such magic in the world, and hobbies, and this is exact proof that hobbies really do make planet Earth. And if you don't like something, then you're not human, because humans tend to like something either way. Like humans, be it a hobby, be it like YouTube, be it being a website, etc. Humans like to do something either way. But basically, these website buildings, these coding games, fun fact, people also do like to code games. That's a big part of hobbies nowadays, and people end up choosing that as their career, in fact. So anyways, let's move on now. Now basically, hobbies are something that people love doing, in conclusion, I would say. Hobbies are not something people should hate. Hobbies are something which people should not hate others for. Hobbies are just something which every person should have. In my opinion, find your own interest. Find what you like doing. If you like genuinely doing that, then do it. Because at the end of the day, if you do your own hobby, you are technically being productive. Because most hobbies nowadays are mostly productive hobbies. People love doing productive things, and being hobby is nothing but creativity, in my opinion, which I find really productive. Being creative is extremely productive, and hobbies, in my opinion, are really creative, which is why I would say hobbies are more productive rather than more of a distraction. So, that is why hobbies really do make planet Earth. Now, this podcast over here is just an introduction. Let me talk about what we're going to be talking about in the coming up episodes. Firstly, we're going to be talking about what are the different types of hobbies that I like in the first episode. In the second episode, I'm going to be talking about how the pandemic has really changed people's opinions on hobbies, what new hobbies have been developed, etc. Episode number 3, I'll also even be talking about why you shouldn't hate others for the hobby that they like. Episode number 4, I'm going to be talking about how hobbies can really make the world. And finally, episode number 5, I'm going to be talking about Water Channel, about like a rewind of our channel, like a rewind episode basically. So these are the 5 episodes that you can expect for the next upcoming months, you can say. But for now in this episode, I'm just talking about the introduction to HobbieCast, what we're going to be talking about, how hobbies can really change somebody's life, how hobbies can even be your dream, for example, and earn you tons of money. Fun fact, hobbies have made all the celebrities in this world. Every single celebrity has followed their own dream, their own passion, their own everything in some sort of way. Hobbies did really help with that. And in my opinion, they were really successful at it. Take Mr. Beast for example. Mr. Beast is this content creator who has over, let's say, 200 million subscribers on YouTube. He at first had a hobby that is called YouTube, being a content creator, just like how I have a hobby of that right now. Except he wanted to make that his full-time career. It all started when he was like around 14 years old. He was just recording this Minecraft video that was like literally in one world. He was just like doing some type of spawn creeper thing, something that little kids would do in Minecraft. But basically, he took YouTube really seriously. He studied the algorithm so hard. That is something that he really wanted to do, and he got successful in. He believed in his own dream. He made sure that it happened either way. And that time, fun fact, there were really popular YouTubers that time, like PewDiePie, T-Series, you get it. I don't even think T-Series existed back then, but PewDiePie had around like 50 million subscribers back then, I think. And Mr. Beast only had like 26. That's a really big difference. And I'm not saying 15, I'm talking about 50. Like, that's a massive difference over there. But in the intercourse of around 11 years, Mr. Beast managed to outsmart him. He managed to beat PewDiePie. And he is about to beat T-Series and become the largest YouTuber on planet Earth. But why is that the case? Because he explored new things. He knew what he wanted to do with life. He knew what he wanted to do with YouTube. He had a plan, he had a vision basically at such an early age about what he's gonna do next, and how he's gonna develop it over time, and look where he is now. That over there is real proof that a hobby can really make you a celebrity. Even Elon Musk, let's say. Elon Musk loved investing. He invested a lot and became the richest person in the world. I don't know much about statistics, guys. I don't even know how to spell it at this point. But I don't know much about it, but like, I do know a lot about LeBron James too. LeBron James loved basketball. He loved it since childhood, in fact. He practiced his own hobby, and made that his dream. And his dream became a reality. Because he followed his dream, he's now living in the most exotic neighborhood in Los Angeles, which is Beverly Hills, obviously. And he is the #1 NBA legend to this day. So you see, guys, hobbies sometimes can be a distraction, I agree. I do agree with some parents that hobbies can sometimes distract kids, especially if you have silly ones. But at the same time, hobbies can really be magical. You have no idea what your dream will become if you follow your hobby. If you follow your hobby and your passion, it is guaranteed success. I'm already telling you right now. Just follow your passion, follow whatever interests you, and you will be nothing but successful in life. Now, I discussed about the introduction to the HobbieCast. I discussed about the different types of celebrities in HobbieCast. I discussed about the boring and cool hobbies. Now guys, please relax and enjoy your hobbies. And I'll see you all in the next HobbieCast video. Peace out, guys.